Well, good evening, laddies, lorkers, and horkers, and welcome to The Click. You smell absolutely astounding today, and don't let anyone else lie to you and tell you otherwise. The art of f***ing around and not finding out. A very rare skill set that the people in this video surely did not master. And that is why today we're looking at r/OhNoConsequences, because these people did indeed f*** around and very much find out. Enjoy. Mwah. You know who else might f*** around and find out? That's right, you, if you don't pick up your Halloween plushie. Who wouldn't want an emotional support demon dressed up as Mango for Halloween? You see how cute it is? It has like a onesie with a little flap for the butt so it can poo. It's amazing. It's so freaking cute. Keep an eye out. Spooky month is almost here. You can sit here because I love you. So cute. No! Stop it!
I'm gonna take a punch from Mike Tyson.
This is a mistake. This is... You know, as a YouTuber, I'm always like, which reactions are legit and which ones are just put on for the camera? This is a legit action. I have never seen anyone manage to fake your eyeballs almost popping out of your skull. Mike Tyson rearranging my guts, and not in the fun way. Hashtag gone wrong, gone sexual, 3 a.m. challenge.
Now, I might not always have my weapon with me, but do you know what I do have?
You know how people online always yap about being like empaths or whatever? I think the ultimate empath moment is like seeing a video of someone bumping their kneecap or like smacking their balls or something, and if you do this by just reflex, you're an empath. Congratulations. Now everyone knows what a nice guy he is. At some point in my late 20s, I matched with a guy on a dating app and he messaged me while I was at work. He waited a whole 3 hours for me to respond before he started sending berating messages, starting with, "Sorry I'm not good looking enough for your shallow ass," followed by messages calling me a cunt and a birch across the next 3 days. Fed up with men who think they can treat women like garbage without consequence, I set out for revenge. It took me a while to find his socials, but I eventually did, and sent a screenshot of his messages to his mother on Facebook Messenger. I didn't get a response, and without being friends with her on Facebook, I couldn't see whether she had actually received or seen my message at all. So I sent it to his sister. She told me he wasn't that kind of guy. Well, obviously he is. The evidence is right here. What do you mean? And was dealing with a lot. Even going so far as to say he was her hero. And the bar is in hell for what a hero means, isn't it? I told her he obviously is that kind of guy and to get better heroes. I then posted a screenshot in a public post and tagged him in it. This prompted him to send me a sniveling apology message via Facebook Messenger, begging me to take the post down. I did not take it down, nor did I respond to his message, so he couldn't tell whether I had read it or not. Very satisfying. You know, one thing I have realized as I have grown older in this fine old world of ours is that there are a lot of blind spots with people, even with people that are very close to you, like family and close friends and that kind of stuff. Even people that do very poopy things, like acting like this, or being stalky or harassy or whatever it might be, they act totally normal 90% of the time. They go to the grocery store, they probably have friends and family, they probably have after-work activities that they go to. Most people that do bad things aren't Disney villains, and I think that's something very important to like understand about people. Someone can be, for example, an abusive pile of poo-poo while also acting decent towards someone else. People usually aren't Disney villains. That doesn't make the first thing okay, it's more about understanding why these blind spots exist and also understanding that there's nuance to it. A person could have treated you perfectly fine while acting completely abhorrent to someone else. They don't actually cancel out. Nah, don't f*** with the wild animal. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Us domesticated humans don't stand a chance. No. Oh, it's already going to... Okay, we have another person stepping in. Woo! The savior of the day. I don't think you can do anything against it. Just run! Just run, my boy! Run! You can't... No! Wild animals are tough, men. They fight for survival every single day. Us, little pampered pieces of shit who sit inside and just watch YouTube videos all day, we don't stand a chance, man. If society collapses, we're fucked. We're gonna get eaten by raccoons, man. Am I the butthole for calling the police on my client? I, 28F, do babysitting on the weekends to make some extra cash. There is one family I definitely should have phased out by now, but the kids are cute, and if I don't have another job, it's easy money. My issue is the mom is never home on time. She used to not give me return times, but I finally started asking, as it made it impossible to get anything done on the weekends. I would go babysit so she could go to brunch, but she'd be gone from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Man, that's one hell of a brunch. My whole day was gone. After that, she would start giving me times, but never stick to them. She wouldn't even call to tell me. She would just stay out. And it's such a bad situation to be stuck in because you can't really leave the kids even though you're not the one in the wrong, right? But I would also demand payment for the hours that she are late, obviously. I hope that was done previously to this story. On Saturday, I got to her house at 6, and she was supposed to be home by 9. I told her she needed to be on time because I had plans to go out with friends. I was even getting ready at their house after I put the kids to bed. She promised. Of course, 9 o'clock rolls around and she's not home. I call her, no response. Text, no response. Another hour, nothing. Still calling and texting. Finally, it is midnight. You waited 3 hours? What an absolutely crap parent. By this point, my plans are long ruined, but I am pissed and exhausted. I call her and leave a voicemail saying that if she's not home in the next hour, I am considering the kids abandoned and calling the cops. I also text her this. I try calling her 30 minutes later and it goes to voicemail on the second ring. I text her again and she leaves me on red. Oh my god, are you serious? Your babysitter is like, hey, you haven't picked up your kids in 4 hours. I'm gonna call them in as abandoned. And she just leaves it on red? What kind of mother is this? This is insane. If she had reached out saying, hey, I'm staying out until X time, I would have stayed. I don't know any of her family nor the father of the kids, so I can't call them. I gave her a grace period of 15 minutes and tried calling again. Then I finally called the cops, non-emergency line. They showed up and I showed her agreement and text from earlier in the week confirming that she would be home by 9. They tried contacting her, didn't answer. She doesn't even answer when the cops try to call her. To be fair, I don't know what it shows up on her phone. I don't know which story this country is from. Maybe it shows up as a hidden number. I know sometimes it does that in Sweden, for example. But that is absolutely wild that she just locks down her phone when she is out, when she knows she has a babysitter, and she also knows it could be emergencies with the kids and stuff. I cannot imagine being a parent and just basically turning off your phone when you leave your kids. That is insane. I was dismissed and they took the children to the police station. I go home and go to bed. I'm awoken at 3 a.m. by a frantic call. It's her. She came home at 3 a.m. Are you oh my god. Where are the kids? Why am I not here? I tell her I followed through my threat, checked the police station. She cursed me out, I hung up and went to bed. I mean, Jesus Christ, this sounds like a CPS situation. She's just willing to abandon her kids for hours and hours and hours and not even check her phone. That is absolutely bonkers. The next day, she sends me an essay saying the kid's father was called and there is a DCF investigation launched against her. Good! Frick around and find out! She called me every name under the sun, but I didn't think I was wrong until I spoke to a friend with kids. She said I should have just waited it out and refused to ever sit for her again. She asked if her potentially losing her kids was worth me being petty. I suppose I can half agree with a friend that I probably just wouldn't have agreed to babysit for this woman after she had done this in the past. At this point, it's a pattern and you kind of know it's going to happen. But on the other hand, she's the parent that abandoned her kids. What if the babysitter wasn't actually waiting for her to literally show up at the door and be like, oh, it's 9 o'clock, the kids are sleeping, she's gonna be home in 5 minutes because she didn't tell me anything else, and then the kids are literally abandoned for God knows how long. That is on the parent, and the investigation is on the parent for not checking in and just being gone for literally, 6 hours and not even checking in on their kids, not being available for emergencies. What if something happened, for example? So no, this is entirely on the parent. I can partially agree with the friend that I probably wouldn't have gotten involved with this to begin with because it sounds like a headache and the track record is a nightmare, but it's not your kids. This is fully the parents' fault, and they would have done this no matter who the babysitter was. I think that's the key. The central problem is the parent, not anyone else around it. Gas station said it's on the house. We got a bit of a robbery situation, but he's just spraying the hell. Oh my god! Oh my god! Up until this moment in my life, I don't think I have ever considered how much it must sting to have your eyeballs filled up with gasoline. That must be so painful, right? That must be so bad. Am I the butthole for telling my ex-husband that his affair didn't just ruin our marriage, but also broke our family? So my 42F ex-husband, 40M, cheated on me about 2 years ago. This affair lasted for almost a year before I found out, and when I did, I immediately filed for divorce. It was messy, but we got through it. We have 2 kids together, 13F and 10M. He ended up moving in with the woman he cheated on me with about 6 months after the divorce was finalized. I have done everything I can to encourage the kids to maintain a relationship with their dad, reminding them to call, making sure they pack their stuff for the weekends, even biting my tongue when they come back and complain about her. I never talk badly about him in front of them, because I don't want to be that parent. But here's the thing. The kids have gotten colder and colder towards him. At first, they were just kind of awkward, but now they don't really engage much when they're with him. They come home and tell me they don't like going over there because
Dad only cares about her,
or
Dad doesn't listen when we're upset.
ooh, that's not a good sign. I keep telling them it's okay to tell them how they feel, but they say he gets defensive or tries to guilt trip them. The 13 and 10 man. Oh my god, like even if the marriage blows up, your main responsibility are still towards your kids that you chose to put on this earth. That's kind of how it goes. When you decide to have kids, you're no longer numero uno. And you've already shown that you might consider yourself numero uno considering you're willing to blow up a household over your affair thing. But at this point, you should at least listen to your kids. Come on. The other night, he called me frustrated, saying, "I don't know why the kids are being so cold and distant. I've tried everything, but they don't warm up. You must be saying something to them." I told him flat out, I don't badmouth you to the kids. They're old enough to remember what happened and feel hurt by it. Affairs don't just break marriages, they break families. You made a choice that hurt not just me, but them too. If they're cold, it's because they're still processing that you betrayed our family, not because of anything I said. He got really upset and then blew up on me, saying I was poisoning the kids against him by reframing the past. What do you mean reframing the past? Cheating is cheating, bro. And that I was cruel for throwing the affair in his face years later. But it still has effects years later, though. Oh my god, man. Like, you literally blew up a household over it when you have kids and everything. Dear god. Like, yeah, it's gonna have ramifications that stretch longer than a couple of months. I told him I wasn't reframing anything. It happened, it hurt us all, and the kids are dealing with the fallout whether he likes it or not. And now he's telling mutual friends that I am manipulating the kids and weaponizing the affair. And some of them think I shouldn't have said that to him because it keeps the wound open. Wait a second, so now it's your fault for weaponizing the affair. Did they forget that it was an affair to begin with? How the hell do you weaponize an affair when that did indeed happen? Are you serious? So, am I the butthole for telling him it's his fault that our kids don't like him anymore? My god, I did something poopy and someone told me I was doing something poopy, but them daring to tell me I was doing something poopy is them weaponizing my own poopy actions against me. The consequences aren't mine. It's just that other people shouldn't call me out on my BS. He sounds a little bit too egocentrical to be a good parent. I'm gonna be honest. Was taking a video of my client leaving after I just detailed it. That just hurts, man. That just hurts. I mean, cars are like a really bad investment as it is. It's like you drive it out from the dealership and it instantly loses like what, 30% of value. It's something insane like that, right? Just touching it. But this takes the damn cake. Ooh, we got a little bit of a gym altercation. So he probably hogged all of the weights, right? And the cops were called, as they should be in that sort of situation. You don't hog all the weights. And he's ready to square down. He's like, I lifted so many weights these past few years. A sissy cop doesn't stand a chance. This is such like an Indiana Jones vibe, isn't it? Like, it's just plop. That's really f***ing around and finding out, isn't it? Like, Jesus Christ. Oh my god. It's okay, he was probably sitting on the only machine of its kind for 40 minutes texting and then getting agitated when someone asks him if they can do sets in between. So this perfectly I mean, I have no idea what actually happened in front of this video, but it's funny to fantasize about, isn't it? My husband wanted a divorce until he lost his job. Am I the butthole to follow through with filing? My husband, 34 male, and I, 38 female, have been married for 6 years, together for 9. We had our ups and downs, but the biggest down is how he speaks to me. I just had our son 1 year ago. When I was 10 months postpartum, he was telling me I am fat and lazy and all I do is take care of the baby and work. I mean, that sounds like a lot though. Like, pretty recently giving birth, you're caring for a newborn, and it sounds like you also have a full-time job. I mean, that's basically all your hours of the day right there, yeah? Like, what did you expect? That just sounds like a crappy partnership, to be honest. Like, if he wants you to have more time to do other things or take care of yourself or whatever it might be, he should also expect to step up and, for example, pick up some more of the slack when it comes to the baby. That kind of comes with the territory, like you're two people running the ship. You know, this is just kind of really entitled and weird and expecting someone to have like literally 24 hours a day and not needing to sleep. As I still had baby weight on navigating new routines, work and caring for our baby and 4 other children while working 40 hours a week. That's all your hours right there. Oh my god, man. On my birthday, he demanded I not leave the house or he would divorce me. Just so happened my daughter had an appointment at UCLA for her teeth the morning of my birthday, so I took her. Needless to say, he didn't even say hello to me and slept in his game room. He has been sleeping there since. Wait a second, so he was upset that he said, "You're not allowed to leave the house," and then there was a medical emergency with the kid and you obviously took the kid because he didn't, and now he's mad at you because he disobeyed your orders? He just sounds super controlling, man. Super controlling and entitled. What a crappy partner. It's been 2 months. He told everyone he was divorcing me, spoke to an attorney and everything before even telling me he wanted a divorce. He told me I was not the price. I am almost 40 and have 4 kids, 3 who are minors. He said he's the price. He's in his prime and makes good money, and any women would love to be in my shoes and take care of his kids. He even went as far as inviting his baby mother into the house to visit while I was out. Fast forward, he loses his job and telling me to wait to move. He then starts talking nicer to me and acting different than before. I mean, he's already shown his true colors. You already know what you need to do. I told him I was still moving out and going forward with separating, because his actions did not align with someone who wanted to be with me. It feels more like I am his only option at the moment. Now he's going around saying I'm a gold digger and leave as soon as he loses his job. You just can't win, can you? If he's doing well, it's like, oh, you should beg at my feet and take care of all of my snotty offspring. I am such a prize. And then he loses his job, be like, oh my god, now you're leaving me just because I treated you like poo before and I wanted a divorce. But then you're a gold digger for leaving me now. Yeah, run, this person is awful. He's saying he wanted to try to make it work, but I am the one choosing to leave to all his family and friends. I mean, even without all of this, he also sounds super controlling. What do you mean you're not allowed to leave the house on your birthday? Who says that to their partner? That is insane. So am I the asshole for following through with what he initiated even after he lost his job? Leave the bum! Leave the bum! He's a controlling bum! Leave him! Okay, what was the plan here? What was the plan here? This seems like such a typical boys being boys kind of bullshit, right? It's like, hey bro, if you really have those nips of steel, like you're always telling us, you should put this crab up against your nips. We were actually talking about this the other day at the gym with the bros. Like, how much could you train your nips to make them like hard as hell? You know that we do a lot of deadlifts and stuff at my little gym, right? It's very fun, you know, with the boys lifting heavy shit, because that's how we deal with our existential crisis. But what if you like attach rings in your nips and then you put that around the deadlift bar and just like, ugh, and you harden your nipples so they can lift like hundreds and hundreds of kilograms. I think that's pretty based. Maybe that's what they're doing here. They're just preparing for the nip deadlift championships. That's a bit of a brand new sentence, isn't it? I'm kind of proud of that one. Am I the bot for leaving for the weekend after my wife agreed to host Easter at our house without consulting me? My wife, 38F, and I, 39M, have been married for 12 years and have 3 kids, 11, 8, and 6. We live reasonably close to family on both of our sides. Our house isn't huge by any means, but it's big enough for our family. However, no one else on my wife's side of the family lives in a house. Her siblings all either rent homes with roommates or live in apartments. Her parents downsized into a smaller townhome about 5 years ago. As a result, anytime her family wants to get together for a holiday or special occasion, we are the one who ends up hosting. It's not even a discussion with her family anymore. Everyone just assumes that we're going to be the ones who host. I mean, if you're down with it and people are grateful and that kind of stuff, stuff, I can totally see that being like a compromise. You know, the person who actually has the room for all the kids to run around and stuff can take on hosting. But I would also expect the other ones to step in and be like, oh, what can we bring? Can we help with the cooking and stuff like that? So you offload the hosts, because you don't want to make someone feel that they are always the one only doing all the work and also hosting and also cleaning and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I can see this working if everyone is aware of the dynamic and not putting just all the load on the host by default. But that's where it sounds like the story is heading. We at least rotate major holidays between my family and hers. But my siblings and parents can also host gatherings, so hosting duties are spread out amongst all of us. But every Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July, Easter, etc. that we spend with her family, we host. And her family are not the best guests. There's the catch. There's the catch. Like, I would be fine with doing this myself if the guests were, like, helpful and genuinely grateful and yada yada, but if it's every single time, and they're also kind of like demanding and entitled, like, nah, then you check out pretty fast. They will bring food if we ask, but anytime there is a cleanup or other help, they are nowhere to be found. I have expressed my dislike of this arrangement to my wife numerous times. She has insisted that I not say anything to her family about it and let her handle it. However, nothing has ever changed. We hosted Christmas for her family this year, and it sucked. People showed up late, forgot the food they were supposed to bring, no one helped with cleaning, people let their kids make messes, etc. Same old story as every other time. After I told my wife I was done, I told her I don't want to host her family until someone else on her family steps up and hosts something, or we book some other venue and all chip in to pay for it. She promised to talk to her family about it and figure something out for the next holiday. For Easter this year, we were supposed to just have it be our family. No extended family. But a couple of weeks ago, my wife met up with her mom and sister for lunch. When she got home, she informed me that she talked to them about how hard hosting Christmas was. She said that her mom and sister agreed that they would do better and offered to prove it to us on Easter, and my wife agreed. We got into a huge fight over it. Oh, okay, so they're already invited, basically, without consulting the husband when this is already kind of a tension point. Yeah, that's not very good. I told my wife that she is on her own for this one. I told her I would be spending the entirety of Easter weekend with my family, and I'll take any kids with me that want to come. But I am not going to be helping with any of the hosting duties whatsoever. She thinks I am overreacting and that I need to give her family the final chance because her mom and sister seemed really sincere during their talk. I told her I don't care what they say. I'm not going to be involved at all because I won't be able to hold my tongue this time, and I don't want it to come to that. She's not happy with me at all, but I don't really care. To top it off, all 3 of our kids want to come spend the weekend with me instead of staying home. I mean, the obvious problem here is that it doesn't feel like the wife is really on the husband's team. So to say, it feels that she's more eager to please her family, which nowadays is like, you know, the wider family, your core family is the one you live with. And it's a higher priority to please them and not upset them than it is to, like, you know, be a teammate for your partner. Which of course never really works out. This is like such a classic story when it's like family on one side being pushy and like that person wants to like not disappoint anyone, but then they end up taking the side of like the extended family instead of like the core family, and it just becomes an entire mess. So it's like, sure, I can see being the bigger person to some extent and like letting them prove it if they're gonna be better guests or whatever. But I also feel like if they really wanted to prove it, at this point, they should also maybe step up a bit more. It's like, oh, but let us host Easter this time to like make up for all the times you did it. Or let us get a nice venue for us, you know, something like that. Like, because you've hosted 5 years in a row and like, now it's our turn to give back. If I was in the parents' shoes and I heard this, like, oh yeah, my partner is kind of upset that you guys are always here, I'd be like, ooh, okay, let me give back this year. So I feel like it's kind of too little too late, you know? And I would probably have acted way differently if I heard this kind of news from like, you know, the other side of the family or whatever. This is not gonna work. That is not sharp enough. That is... Okay, that could have gone so much worse. I was fully imagining just like waxing your entire head. Alright, here we go. We got a power tool. Just snare that in your head. Just... You never have to cut your hair again. If you were ever worried about going bald, you don't have to worry about it ever again. Because there is no more hair to lose. Oh, we got a little bit of a car situation. Wait, so he's actually out of the car. Forgot to put the brakes in, and now he's braking it manually. The motorcycle guy steps in and just... He just gets that situation over with. Once and for all. You were worried about bumping into something when it's rolling in reverse. Let me just ram it the f*** into the wall. You can't get a bump in your car if it's already totaled. Am I the butthole for feeling upset that a girl I was friends with benefits with got a boyfriend without even saying a word to me? No, that definitely happens. You know, friends with benefits means that no strings attached. She doesn't owe you anything and you don't owe her anything. If you wanted something different, you should have probably locked that down. I, 23M, just got out of a very toxic relationship and I wasn't ready to be with anyone yet. I basically didn't want another relationship and wanted to focus on myself for once. Until I met her. We first started communicating when I had got her number for work. I was the instrument manager for the orchestra and needed to contact one of her friends, so I took her number to reach out. I didn't think we would talk again, but later she responded to a post I made about relationship trauma in men. She replied saying women go through it too, and that led to a long conversation where she ended up trauma dumping about her past. After that, we started talking more regularly.
Ooh, yes indeed, bonding over trauma dumping, baby, then to friends with benefits, and then not having good boundaries, and then it blows up again. Yippee!
Things were fine until she sent me a one-view image saying she liked me. Mentally, I wasn't in a place for a relationship, but after hearing everything she had gone through, I didn't want to hurt her feelings. Plus, she was cute and nice, or so I thought.
What do you mean, or so you thought?
After several deep conversations, she invited me to her place. Since we had just met and she only recently told me she liked me, I thought it might not be appropriate, but I agreed to come over Saturday. I mean, if you're having like deep conversations, talking about past relationships and kind of bonding on a more mental level or whatever, it also sounds like something different from just a friends with benefits thing, to be honest. When I got there, we planned to watch a movie. She made me food, I set up the projector, but then she came into the room wearing just a bra and shorts. I tried to brush it off, but throughout the movie she kept hinting at wanting to kiss. I ignored it a few times, but eventually gave in and kissed her.
A mistake! Oh, you gotta stay on the grind set, bro. Don't let those females distract you from what really matters. Which is, plushies.
Afterwards, I felt conflicted. I broke my own rule of not getting involved. I didn't know how to tell her I didn't want a relationship, so I stupidly asked her best friend for advice. That blew up in my face. Her best friend told her, I mean, of course she did. Her best friend has her back. She's a good bestie, yes. And she went off on me. I apologized for not being honest, and eventually I told her the truth. She seemed to understand. I mean, you should have just had that conversation to begin with. I mean, Jesus Christ, having the conversation like, you know, oh, I just came out of something long term, I really like you, we seem to click, yada yada yada, but I want to take it a bit slow. That's probably how I would have handled this if I felt like, ooh, this could be a potential relationship, but I'm also fresh out of something. Be honest about that, take it slow, I don't want to feel like anyone is a rebound or whatever. That's probably the healthy way to do this. Not have this like, oh, we're friends with benefits, but not really friends with benefits, and we also talk about deep shit, and then I'm gonna, I don't know, gossip to her bestie instead of talking to her directly, and then also be upset when she moves on with someone else that's ready to commit. Like, oh my god, man. Come on. I enjoyed that night with her, and I thought it could be a mutual agreement. She agreed, and a couple of days later, I went over again. We kissed, watched a show, and she even gave me a gift. I felt like a butthole because she clearly had real feelings. I mean, then you have a decision to make. If people are developing real feelings, which often tends to happen in friends with benefits kind of stuff, because, I mean, if you're both friends, and you're also doing intimate stuff, chances are you start getting a little bit of feelings, you know? So then you have to choose. Like, do you want to cut this clean and be like, no, I'm not in this for the same reason, this is just gonna lead to heartbreak? Or do you want to commit and like try to do it, but you can also do it at your own pace. You can just take her like, hey, I want to do more with this, but I also want to take it slow. You have to decide. This, speaking of toxicity that you were talking about in old relationships, this is toxic as hell. A few days later, I went to a party and realized I might actually want to try being with her. But when I reached out, she had already gone home for the summer. I asked about her plans, and she casually mentioned going to the beach with her friend and her boyfriend. I was shocked.
A boyfriend? I mean, that tends to happen when you don't commit, man.
I had no idea she was even seeing someone. I asked when this happened, and she said it was a week ago, the same night I left her place. Basically, she had been talking to both of us. I mean, yeah, if you don't want to commit, and you don't make it exclusive, people have a tendency to be open for other suggestions. You didn't lock it down, someone else started talking to her, or she started talking to them, they hit it off, and they were both into getting a relationship going, and off they went. That's sort of how it goes. You cannot expect friends with benefits that you have specifically said you only want to be a friends with benefits to like be monogamous with you or whatever. That's not really how it works. I was heartbroken. Man, I think you just need to spend some time alone. If you were talking about like how toxic your last relationship was, and this is what you jump into, like I would argue that this is even worse than just a rebound. Like for God's sake, man, now you're like in this weird limbo of like everyone seemingly has feelings, but I'm not gonna commit, and I'm not gonna communicate, and I'm gonna talk to her bestie instead. And then when she moves on, I am the one being heartbroken, but she was kind of emotional before. Is it? Oh my God, man, some people just love creating their own problems, don't they? I was heartbroken. I know we were just friends with benefits, but I feel like she could have at least told me she wanted a boyfriend. I mean, I think that was pretty clear. Even if she didn't tell you straight up, she told you she liked you, she was giving you gifts, she was putting in efforts and stuff. She was very clearly signaling that she wanted something more. When I told her how I felt, she said it didn't matter because I wasn't actually dating her. After that, stopped talking to her. So am I the butthole for being upset? I mean, it's fine being upset, but I think you also have to admit that it was kind of like your own mistake. You can mess up something in dating, like, you know, you don't commit to something that maybe you actually wanted to commit to and you realize afterwards that you messed up. It's like, but you also have to admit that it's kind of like your own fault. You know, no one else actually hurt you in this situation. She wanted a relationship, you had like this weird kind of limbo thing going on, she moved on with someone else and now you're sad about it. It's fine that you're feeling sad, your feelings are perfectly valid, but you shouldn't blame someone else. That's the difference between being a butthole or not. Like, you created a toxic situation and it was hurtful for everyone. Just admitting to that, admitting it hurt you too, your feelings are valid, spend some time alone and then move on to something healthier. That's how you deal with it, okay? No, don't. Aww. Aww. I did this once, but in an elevator with the mirror. When we were carrying a giant soda machine, we were putting a bunch of beer in. We were students and stupid. It's fine. Am I the butthole for making my younger sisters fly home early after they followed my husband? Wait, what? I have two younger sisters who are 15 and 17. They came to visit my husband and I on what was supposed to be a 5-week trip. Unfortunately, it had to end early after they were caught following my husband while he was having dinner with a client. Wait, were they trying to like bust him for cheating or something? Are they little detectives? I told them they had to leave immediately because I could tell my husband was close to exploding, and even though they kept begging me to hear them out and to let them stay, I wouldn't. I called our dad to let him know they would be coming home early, and why, which didn't go over well. My stepmother wanted me to let them stay until the morning so they would fly back in the daytime, but I told her it's impossible and they had to leave immediately. I mean, that also sounds like a little bit dramatic, I suppose. You can just send them home the next day. You know, it's not like they're literally lighting the house on fire or whatever. They did a stupid thing, which they're also like teenagers or whatever. I could totally see them being like, oh my god, is he doing something? I'm assuming this client is also like a woman, right? So they're like, oh my god, is he going out and having dinner with other women? Like, oh, we have to stand up for our sister. But of course, like, overstepping that, ending up doing something stupid, even if maybe it was well intended. So like, I don't know, it just sounds like everyone is sort of like being silly here. Like, it sounds like a bit of an overreaction. I mean, they did something stupid as well. I think everyone just needs to take a chill pill, man. I'm supposed to be visiting soon, but my sisters have told our dad that they don't want to see me, and my stepmother said I wasn't welcome in her house after what I did to them. The reason my husband was so angry is because the client was the one who noticed them taking pictures of them, and when he confronted them, they were rude to her and to him. Am I the butthole? Okay, that's kind of nuts. That's kind of nuts, but I'm assuming, right? I'm assuming it's because they were assuming like the husband was cheating or something because they saw him going to dinner with another woman, but it was actually a client. But it's also like, I don't know, man. I don't know. They should be profusely apologizing for that. You also don't like casually accuse someone of cheating. It's a pretty big accusation, which is why I'm assuming they were taking pictures so they would have evidence. It's more than just an accusation, I guess. Like, the whole thing is pretty stupid, but I also feel it's like an overreaction to like send them home in the middle of the night. Like, you know, two wrongs doesn't make a right or whatever. Queremos el audio original, yeah. Okay, that's great. But, so they're like running around and they're trying to make it before the doors closes, I guess. They're just having a fun, quirky time, but okay. I mean, they were just purposefully fucking around until they found out. But that's kind of funny and lighthearted, though. You know, probably have to wait 5 minutes for the next train. It's fine. That's just funny and silly for everyone. I like it when adults can just be kids for a moment and just laugh together. That's kind of wholesome. I like this video. Alright, everyone watching. Small little arachnophobia warning. Skip to the timestamp here if you don't like little spooders. Alright, playing in 3, 2, then...
Okay.
I mean, that's just a free pet though. What's that, like a little tarantula? You can have them as at home as pets, you know. This, you see, he just wants to come home with you. He's like, if I just crawl into your pants, maybe I'll get to follow him home. And then I will have a new owner, and he will feed me disobedient neighborhood kids to devour. Scrumptious. I mean, that ain't so bad though. This seems like just a fun moment when you're trying to take a selfie with a spider. I do imagine it gets a bit worse if you just really don't like spiders though. But maybe he likes spiders, otherwise maybe he wouldn't be so close to it to begin with. Am I the butthole for revoking my daughter's college fund? I know it sounds bad, but please hear me out. When my wife and I divorced, my daughter, 14F, took my wife's side, which I was pretty upset and surprised about. She was 12 when we separated and we were very close, unlike her and her mother. I didn't hold this against her because she's a kid and didn't know any better, and I make the effort to see her. I love spending time with my daughter. I met my current wife 4 years ago. She was pre-law and planning on taking loans to pay for law school. Wait a second, met 4 years ago. Wait, hold on a second. So the daughter is 14. You met 4 years ago when the daughter was 10, but you separated when she was 12. So was that 2 years of cheating? Or do you mean that after the separation you got together with someone you already knew? Like, this sounds really sussy. This sounds sussy. However, about 2 years later, we were engaged and I didn't want her to take on any loans, so I offered to pay for law school. She was apprehensive, but I wanted a good start to our married life and did not want any loans hanging over our heads. So she agreed. I used my daughter's college fund to pay for my wife's school. Okay, wait a second. So you go and cheat, if I'm understanding this timeline correctly, basically get engaged to your mistress at the same time as you divorce your current wife, which you have a child with, and then 2 years later, you just give your daughter's college fund to your, like, cheating mistress wife, and you're wondering why your daughter doesn't want to talk to you? Oh my fucking god, man. Oh my, are you serious? I used my daughter's college fund to pay for my wife's school and planned on replenishing it so that my daughter would have a fund when it was her turn to go to college. I put a little money each month. I honestly thought this was okay because when I had asked her about college at the time of doing this, she said that she wanted to go to makeup school and be a makeup artist and that college sucks. She's also 14, man. What fucking 14-year-old? I say, oh man, school is my favorite thing ever. 14-year-old, what up, fellow kids? Are you kidding me? Like, you asked your small teenage child, just like, oh, do you love school? And they're like, nah. And it's like, okay, then I'm gonna remove your college fund. Oh my fucking shit, man. This is the biggest suck of copium I've ever seen. Well, apparently her mindset changed because on Sunday we met up and she was talking about AP classes. I was surprised because I didn't think she was interested in school. I asked her if she was joking, but she said she's aiming for a CS at some top private college and that her dream is to start a startup business. She then asked me if she had a college fund and she wanted to know if she could add on an EC or get a job. I told her the truth about her college fund and that right now there is not enough money for even a year at a private college. Who the f would have thunk it? Like a 12-year-old or 14 or however old she was when she said that she's not super hyped about school would have changed their mind and be like, oh my god, university or college opens doors later in life. Maybe I am interested in it after all. She then started crying and making a scene and told me that she couldn't believe that I chose my wife over her mom and now I'm choosing her again over my daughter. Which is not true since my daughter is getting a fund, just not private school tuition. No, you spent the college fund. That's why. Instead of taking out a loan for your wife, which sounds perfectly reasonable because you're both like working adults or whatever. Like, Jesus Christ, man, come on. She then called my wife a bunch of awful names that I won't say here. I told her she's probably not going to get into a private school because she wasn't even serious about school 2 years ago. She was 12. I wasn't thinking about college or uni or whatever when I was 12. You're in 6th grade when you're 12. I hadn't even considered which high school I was gonna go to when I was 12. Are you actually for real? She called me a shit dad and ran away until her mom came to get her. Valid response. Her mom later called me angrily about what I said to her and said that my daughter is on track to win some prestigious science fair award, and I was way out of line with what I said and that I obviously don't know her. Yeah, I think your ex-wife is right about this one. I was honestly so done with the BS she pulled, and her attitude towards my wife never has been good, and said that I'm probably going to revoke my daughter's college fund since she obviously doesn't deserve it with what she pulled today. No, you took money out of her college fund, very, very clearly showing that your daughter is your last priority. You prioritize your new wife over the old household you have, you prioritize it over your own kid, and etc., and you keep doing it. And then you're wondering why your daughter is upset that, you know, your own child isn't your main priority. And then you're like, oh, then I'm gonna get even worse then. If you don't like that I prioritize someone over you, I'll prioritize you even less then. How about that? God, you're immature. God. My daughter is now refusing to see me and calling me by my first name. I still stand by my decision. Am I the butthole? Do you really need to ask? Did you seriously write all this down and be like, am I the butthole? I don't know, it's a bit up in the air. Who's wrong here? Is it because my 12-year-old daughter said that she didn't like school when she was 9 and then I burned her college fund? You know? I don't know, but it's a bit of a neutral situation, this one. Edit, I'm done with the rude comments about my wife. It's I am the asshole, not my wife the asshole. I mean, she's also kind of a butt for agreeing with it. I would never in a billion years be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this thing. And my significant other is like, oh yeah, I'm saving money for my kid from a different marriage, but you know, I can spend it on you instead. I'd be like, what the f***? No? Like that, are you, what? Stealing candy from a child or whatever, but I guess it's their college fund in this case. Holy f***, man. But my wife is really great. I'll accept an asshole judgment. Yada yappy yappy, holy sh**, yappy yappy yappy. I'll keep my daughter's fund and try to add enough money for private school. Good. Did you really need Reddit to tell you that? Jesus Christ, man. Edit, my wife called my daughter's mother because she felt bad about the situation. It's sad about my relationship with daughter. She insisted on the remaining money in the account, about $45,000, to be my daughter in a separate fund controlled by her mother. Her mother didn't take that well and hung up on my wife after telling her she didn't need her charity. My wife now won't talk to me because she feels I put her in a bad position and should have told her before the money was my daughter's because she figured it was just extra money I had left over and not my daughter's fund. Yeah, okay, then you just shouldn't have said anything to begin with, but it's still a dick move. My ex-wife is furious at me because wife called her and she didn't want to hear my wife's bishy voice. I mean, it's probably not the most positive association. You know, it's like, ooh, here is the wife who my ex-husband cheated on me with, who's also being prioritized by my ex-husband instead of the child we have together. You know, even though she's probably not the main villain in this scenario, the husband is, I can definitely see the associations not being great. So your wife was your affair partner, whom you spent your daughter's college fund on. Yeah, you're the asshole in every single way. I noticed that too. If daughter is 17 and OP met his current wife 4 years ago, then he met current wife when daughter was 13. OP got divorced when daughter was 14, so that means current wife was in the picture before the divorce. I understood the timeline slightly different, but I think the conclusion is still the same. Yes, just pull it off, my boy. Just pull it. Oh. I love how he's also wearing proper armor and stuff. Like, he's wearing shoes indoors. He has, like, his little knee protectors and everything. But the universe just seems to love a classic little nutcracker, doesn't it? r/ask Reddit. What is the strangest or most drastic way you've ever heard of someone finding out their partner was cheating on them? A couple I would loosely call friends found out that they were both cheating on each other. They told me about how they sat down and talked it out and found out each of them had cheated on the other roughly the same amount, which was around 11 people each. And how they weren't going to cheat anymore on each other. Oh yeah, because the track record is so great. They're just perfect for each other, aren't they? I told them, just open up the relationship, because obviously one of them is going to cheat again. And they got mad at me. Not even a month later, the guy cheated again and left her for the new chick. Who would have seen that one coming? Oh my god, the dildo of consequence rarely arrives lubed. Well, laddies, lasses, and lassos, I do hope you enjoyed this episode of Frick Around and Find Out, and I do hope you have an amazing rest of your day because you do deserve it, and I will see you in the very near future. Take care. Mwah.